Thank you. Right. Shoppable TV. Let's dig into it. What does it mean? Well, it's a concept that's been around since the 1990s at least. And I think even back then there was maybe a somewhat unhealthy obsession with Jennifer Aniston's sweaters and the ability to buy her sweater when you saw it on Friends. And indeed, MIT Media Lab in 1998 built a prototype for JCPenney of the ability to do such a thing. But it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time being fulfilled as a prospect. So, Mike, why has it taken all this time? What does it actually mean now? Is it still about buying Jennifer's sweater?
Is this me personally, or the? I mean, I still would probably buy Jennifer Aniston's sweater and wouldn't be overly price sensitive about that either. I think so. Mike Shaw, I work at Roku, and I think there's needed to be a few foundational things to happen. Firstly, just because something can be done doesn't necessarily mean it should be done. Secondly, it actually has to be able to be done in the first instance. And this idea of shoppable television, if we move beyond the days of just the TV channels linked to a phone number, you really needed a lot of IP delivered television with an opportunity for data to go both ways. You needed user interfaces and ways of consumers interacting with that television screen to make it work. And you needed consumer patterns of behavior that were accepting of what they needed to do and also trained in how to do it. And I think obviously the technology developments have been there. There's a bunch of TV platforms, Roku being one of them, many in this room, that have augmented AIs and developed new ad units to be able to do it. But also, I think we stand upon the giant that is social media and the formats, et cetera, and the patterns of behavior ingrained in the way consumers think, look at, and are used to now shopping in new media. All of those things, I think, are the enablers of where we are now.
Joe from Edge, has the time come? Can we do it now for real?
Well, I hope so, because otherwise we're out of business. Yeah, I mean, I think that what you're talking about, what Mike's talking about, is important to split it down the middle, if you like. So, looking for Jennifer Aniston's top that she's wearing, well, then you're actually trying to shop the content. But if you're looking at what Mike's talking about with ad units, then you're talking about tagging, and you're talking about shopping ads. And we don't do that. We don't do shopping of ads, and we don't do shopping of video on demand. We can only do live, and that's because of technological restrictions. So the AI needs to be working and watching with you. So we can do it, but we can't do it outside linear live fast.
Should we show what you're doing?
Sure. There's a video that we have that can show the in-travel promo, which is about to go live.
This place. It's truly remarkable. It's all part of the adventure.
It's time to explore the world.
Get your passport ready.
Wow! And shop it.
Wow, that is amazing!
To shop this channel, it couldn't be easier. Just scan and buy.
Mate.
Scan the QR code on your screen and choose your favorite product. Buy it directly from your phone.
Oh my days.
Shop for products and holidays. It's easy, fast, and simple.
I love it!
The world in your hands.
I'm feeling good.
Watch, scan, and shop with InTravel and Edge Video AI.
So the viewers really want to interrupt their live TV viewing to buy stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if 70% of people have got their phone in their hands while they're watching these TVs, so they're either going to do something with that content or without. So that's an opportunity. And so 49% of people will scan a QR code to get a deal. So above and beyond we've got 300,000 tickets 3,000 vendors, and this particular 3,000 vendors on this channel, and 2 million products, we're also throwing in deals. So we need to have a good mix of reactions to the content in order to be able to keep people engaged. So I think the answer is hopefully yes, that will keep people interested, but we have to hook them in other ways too, like we give them check-in points for scan the QR code each day, and we give them rewards for answering quizzes about the content. So we don't think that we've got all the answers, so we don't think we know exactly what they want to do, but we do need to give them options. And I think that it's a way now for AI to become an interface to the content, like ChatGPT is an interface to the LLM. And I think that's really exciting because the content, like in travel, is just amazing. And being able to see inside the content and find a product that matches that, or the 300,000 tickets, for example, where tickets start matching like within a few minutes. So if you're watching that particular location, and it's actually my wife came up with that idea. She said, wouldn't it be great to have Viator on there? Because it would just land on that. And the AI keeps getting better. And so therefore it's making it easier for us to match that. And the latency is coming down. So I think as the experience gets better, we're getting a better product at the door, and we'll just have to keep improving it, make sure they like it.
Jay from ITV, at this very conference last year, your colleague Rhys McCracken said, we've had a light bulb moment at ITV about Shoppable.
Yeah.
And he seemed really excited about it then, this light bulb moment. What was it? And shed the light on us now.
Where to start about Rhys and his light bulb moments? So yeah, look, I've had the pleasure of working with Rhys for now 20 years in various businesses, and look, I think the shared vision we hold across our business is commerce in all its forms is really important for broadcasters, and let's just zoom out from just shoppable formats for a moment, and I will get into our play here, our insights there, what we're doing, what we've learned. But if we zoom out and just look at shoppable formats as just one aspect of a much more holistic strategy to get closer to commerce, and that comprises many forms. It's building more interesting experiences for viewers to be inspired by what they see and interact. And I'm going to keep that really broad, interact, because we've had learnings of both how we engender interaction in the content space, but also now in the ad space. So let's stick a pin in that for a moment. Most compellingly, and where the real scale is how we augment what we do in the audience space to bring more active, known intender segments to our addressable offering.
Intenders.
Let's talk about that. So I think in broadcast we've all been very good, and this is in every market, augmenting our broad demographic understanding of our audiences with attributes. So via, for example, Experian, we can do really cool things to help advertisers understand how and where to reach ITVX viewers who live in detached homes who might own a BMW, right? And from there, you might start to then think, okay, if they live in a detached home and own a BMW, they might be in the market for my products. We don't know they're in the market for a new BMW, but with the sorts of partnerships that we're building, we will, in the next 2 months, be able to find a known active auto intender. That's commerce for the autos market. We've been doing it for nearly 3 years with Boots and Tesco. Rather than offering L'Oreal or P&G a female who might buy shampoo, who might not, a known specific type of category shampoo buyer in Boots and in Tesco. That's really important. That's helping advertisers get closer to a known active buyer and building an advertising experience that we know can drive a transaction, and then building measurement around it. So that's fundamentally where commerce sits for us at scale.
But is there a particular format that you're going to launch to address that?
So format is a TV ad. And what we're doing is working with brands to show them how different types of TV ad might work better when you're targeting a known in-market audience who are ready to buy your product, rather than the entire cohort of buyers of today and tomorrow. Now, alongside that, we've done a lot of work on formats, understanding, certainly around our shows, what sort of advertising will our viewers engage with? Will they tolerate engaging with at the expense of getting back to the content? Because ultimately, all our viewers are not there to watch ads. They're there to watch content. And we have tested a number of different approaches to this. And where we have landed, we've been, for over a year now, had in development a brand new format, a lead gen ad format. So what we are going to do, we're launching this in 2 months' time. We're bringing the best of lead gen. So lead generation in the programmatic space is growing in importance. But if you want to drive leads into your business, and many categories do, principally the categories with an extended mid-funnel. So it won't be pullovers, it won't be shampoo, but it will be in the finance, in the autos, in the charities categories. It will be any category with an extended mid-funnel. And what we are basically doing is building an ad unit that will make it easier than ever for viewers to convey interest in an ad via the remote control, and for the viewer to control whether ITV share the registered user data that we have on that viewer, and we pass that to the advertiser. 2 clicks, 3 seconds. That lead gen format, we hope, will drive significant traction. It's bringing the best of lead gen in digital to TV. The early conversations we've had with the market have been really interesting. We're going to be running a limited pilot for the first 6 months of this year. We have no slots left on that pilot already. We haven't even launched any details of it. It demonstrates, I think, that what we've done here, brands understand, because what they don't want to be doing is building interruptive ad experiences that take people away from the content. They want to build complementary ad experiences and be a part of that.
So 2 things I want to underline there. One, you're keeping it first screen, in the sense you're interacting with the big screen, right? You're not asking them to do anything on their mobile, anything separate, number one.
No mobile
Number
phone.
2, you're not asking them to do any transaction, right? There's actually no commerce involved in this. It's only about, I'm showing some kind of interest, right? So those 2 things. Tom, FX Digital, you're all about, improving the user experience for the viewer, right? Keeping it nice and streamlined, avoiding things that might be this nasty word, friction. Seems to me that commerce could be a bit nasty, could get in the way of the viewer experience. How do we avoid that?
Yeah, hi everyone, great to be here. I would say that what we don't want it to happen is like when you go on a website these days and you get about 16 pop-ups just to get into the content, and you don't want that on a TV because it's just going to cheese everyone off. I think really it's shoppable TV for me anyway is just moving someone a little bit further down the funnel, so I don't. It is possible in the future you could have someone going in there and buying a complex product like a t-shirt, you're picking your size, you're picking your color, but that is quite a clunky experience on a limited remote control. So I think what we're looking for is just trying to have those kind of smaller interactions that registers interest, or allow someone to maybe scan a QR code with their phone, or in the likes of Roku, I think you guys have got a great ecosystem where if you have a branded app, you kind of have to, and you have in-app purchasing, you have to sign up to Roku Pay. So you've already got the consumer's information, you've got their address, and you've got their payment details. So that kind of one-click purchase becomes a lot more plausible in platform like that. So, depending on the device you're on, you might be able to, make that commerce flow a bit more intuitive. And I think about things like Amazon Prime and TVOD, just that one button press to purchase a film or a movie. You could see that in the future with maybe smaller products that maybe don't need a lot of cognitive overload, like a pack of batteries or something like that. So yeah, I think it depends on the products you're selling and it depends on the devices you're on, but there are definitely ways to improve the user experience so it's not bombarding the user with overlays and interactivity. And I'm sure we'll experiment and we'll see a bit of that and then we'll kind of tidy it up as we sort of continue to innovate in this space.
Mike, what numbers have you got for people who have loaded their ability to pay on your system, their credit card or whatever?
I mean, it's the majority of people who sign up with Roku because the use case is actually around being able to add content subscriptions, etc. It's a natural part of why you would do it. So it's the vast majority of people we've got method of payment on file for, and when you have that and you have their address, to your point, that frictionless purchase option does become something you can do with the same number of clicks, Jay, of that remote that you were talking about for kind of getting in and then back to the content experience. So it's a lot, and that gives you, because that form factor, that UI, that you can't do what you do on a PC, on a television, with the remote. You can't be entering your address. You can't be putting your email address. Nobody wants to be trying to use it to enter their credit card number. So you have to have a different way. And this is where I think that first-party data asset that we have, but by no means alone. I mean, like ITV, for example, the registered user base, the thing that underpins the Tesco work, etc. All of that is already there. So actually, you're sort of well on the way to that point. And your other piece about the complexity of the funnel, we'd say that we would expect it to do incredibly well for you. Our versions of the OK to SMS, OK to email ads are variants of what you're looking at here, and they're doing incredibly well, to 2 to 3x the performance of the QR codes alone, which are already a great response mechanism to your 70% point. Like, the phone is there, but the remote control's even more there with even less to do. So I do think like the data is present to be able to make these things happen. And I think we therefore will see, we do see the bulk of commerce still happening away from the TV screen. We're not sitting here saying everything's moving to the telly, but we would expect there to be a 1, 2, 3, 4% of transactions actually completed in the same way that they did when PC internet arrived, and then the mobile arrived, and that got some of that share as well, not as much as the content piece. But when you give people a screen to transact easily on for things they want at the time they want it, then they do it. And
are they doing it on Roku now? Are they?
Yes.
Are they buying stuff now?
They are, but not all the time, and not all of the categories of stuff. So, for example, the all the time piece I think is really important. So, there's been discussions earlier today about fast viewing, etc. Fast and the rise of fast has been about a need state. And ThinkBox back in 2018 did this great study about TV need states. And there's a bunch of them that you can categorize into 7 or 8. But there are 2 of them, unwind and distract, that made up, I think, 44% of viewing. This is November 2018, all UK data. And those are the states that are most akin to the type of states that people would be in when they are doing what my kids have termed doom scrolling through TikTok. And it's just moved from one to the other. So your attention can be interrupted by what's on there. You don't want to make a decision. If you're making a decision about what you were watching, you wouldn't be on TikTok, but you are. And these 2 need states are the places where people are doing some of that shopping. And the very first one that we did actually was a partnership with Wendy's, with DoorDash, and it was a natural fit with people watching films. And you could just order your takeout whilst you watch your film. And those transactions happening on the TV very quickly using pre-existing address and payment card data. And then with Wendy's and with DoorDash as a fulfillment and delivery function, it's worked incredibly well. So yes, it absolutely is happening, and we're seeing more and more instances of it, but it's still a long way from being the majority of ads.
Do you also believe in it as a lead gen platform, like Jay is suggesting, or?
Yes, absolutely.
So both.
Both.
Transact and lead gen.
Completely. So good case study from the US Mini. Nobody is buying cars on their television yet, But what they are doing, and we worked up with Mini and Cox's Automotive, the big US data set, which help us both target and measure, but they're an independent third party. They're not us, they're not Mini. And the goal in there was about driving consideration, driving visits to dealerships, driving downloads of the brochures. That is, in Jay's world, that's the lead gen function that you're looking at here. Nobody is buying the car, but that is now being able, you can measure that. And that's now part of this idea of performance TV. Nobody's buying the car, but we are now part of, we're getting way more attribution for subsequent business outcomes to Mini than we were before.
Joe, what are they buying on your platform?
Well, at the moment, we're about to launch the in-travel channel that you saw before. And we saw some transactions starting to pop up before we've actually launched it. And so we're wondering, where did they come from? And the employees actually started buying it. So we sold 17 products from the suppliers, so Shark UK and Ninja UK. But what was interesting is that like Mike was talking about, that ongoing connection, that relationship came through a cookie. So the cookie was attributed to that buyer. So we think there's only two of the buyers, employees. And then we got the 30 days worth of sales after that, and they get attributed back to that. So we think that just the discovery alone of new vendors and that cookie attribution has a huge impact, because it's already shown to be doing that.
But you're relying on QR codes and a second screen.
Not just now. So initially we were. This time last year we started off with that. But we've also added on now a second option, which is the web store. So in this case, you'll go to in.tv/shop, and you'll be able to watch the channel and actually click on it and buy with your mouse. So, and we're not just limited to TV either. So we'll be going to live streaming, influencer platforms, things like that. So it's a bit of a different world that we're sort of branching into through the web.
Jay, you've done quite a lot of investigation of QR codes and second screen stuff. What did you conclude?
We ran a major 8-9 month trial with about 40 different advertisers. We just offered them the opportunity to take part in our QR ads trial. We just put a QR on their ads and shared the data back, ran all the analytics for them. And the numbers were okay. You know, and what we very quickly realized here is there's no play for us. You know, smarter brands are putting them on their TV ads anyway now. You know, I watched a Vodafone ad this morning over breakfast with a little circular QR in it. So they don't need you. They don't need us.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't need to share the analytics with us by doing it that way, and they can integrate it into the look and feel of their TV ad, which would be the right thing to do. So QRs are good. We saw comparable levels of QR usage to what we see or what we hear of in direct response TV, so daytime TV. So comparable response levels. So if you are looking to elicit a direct response from your TV ad, and you're not precious about putting a QR in there, put a QR in there, because it's one additional opportunity that those with a phone ready to scan can deploy. But for us, it's not part of the advertising experience that we want to scale as part of our advertising repertoire. What we're building in lead gen is the stepping stone to other formats, other interesting areas and territories for commerce-based engagement. I'm really interested in what you guys are doing at Roku, Mike, as you know. So as and where you guys blaze a trail with your content, with what you're doing in the US, we'll be continuing to watch from the sidelines. We know the action of asking for more information can translate into other commerce-based interactions. The tech is really hard. You know, it's taken us a year to build this. And
what's the hard bit?
The hard bit's building the viewer experience. And what we're building when we build ITVX is we build it native to every platform it sits on. and that's hard.
That's the really hard bit.
That's the really hard
because
bit.
like Roku's operating system is built in one language. Samsung here, theirs is built in another. LG here, there's so when we go through this sort of stuff, trying to get that done across all of the places you need to be at the scale, at the right time, and at the time people expect their ITV experience to be, say, even if there's Samsung TV in the living room and a Roku TV in the study or the snug or something, you've got to be on both with the same offer. It's really hard.
Yeah. Tom, that's what you do, right?
It is. That was a great segue. Thank you very much. Well, and also most people don't change their TVs till every sort of 6 to 8 years. So not only have you got the different platforms, but some of them are very old as well. So depending on how interactive these experiences are, that you need to gracefully degrade them for some of the older devices as well. So it does get very complex if you want that full range coverage.
Jay, would you add payment details to your vast database of viewers if you could?
We're exploring other ways of driving shoppability outside of the credit card. I don't see any.
Like,
that's for later this year. We're talking
give
to
us a little hint.
We're talking to our big grocery partner about something that that will be an evolution of what we're doing with lead gen.
Okay.
But it won't require the addition of payment details or the provision of payment details to us. No.
Where are you going with it, Mike? What's the next stage for you? Because you've got some interesting partnerships along the way. You've got Shopify, you've got Instacart.
Yeah.
What do those kind of partnerships bring?
Those bring scale of advertisers and retailers, commerce agents essentially, who are already integrated with those guys, and by now having that integration allowing them to extend onto TV. So I think in a nutshell the biggest thing for us is the democratization of television advertising. If we take the UK TV landscape 30 years ago, there was probably 2,000 to 3,000 advertisers in total who appeared on TV in any given year because of the size of the budget you needed and because all of the gateways to that were through agency holding companies. That was it. That was as many people as you had. I think once you look at partnerships like this and just the sheer democratization, actually, I mean, the Sky AdSmart example was brought up earlier. That was sort of one of the first UK ways of people being able to do smaller budgets, far more regionalised, far more targeted ads. We're going to start to see tens of thousands of different advertisers being able to exist in the UK and US ecosystem that just wouldn't have been possible before. And it's going to come through two things. Firstly, there's now a payoff for them to be able to do it. It's within their budget level and it's through partners they're already working with, like Instacart. And the second piece is going to be through the buying interfaces. There's far more kind of programmatic options. You don't need to be a client of an agency holdco anymore to be able to get in front of big screen television audiences. In the UK, ITVX is a massive buying platform now, having not existed only a few years ago. And the self-serve interfaces, Roku Ads Manager is one of a number that are out there now. So I think that's going to be the thing, just a sheer overwhelming expansion of the volume of TV advertisers. And that's why one of the other things, when people were saying like the TV ad market is kind of flat, I don't agree. I think this is a massive opportunity for the TV ad market to take back a bunch of budget that's been historically in what we term digital locations or social locations. That sort of stuff will now come back increasingly towards the TV.
You agree with that, I imagine, Joe?
Yes, absolutely. I think that came up in the previous session too, that the pendulum's starting to swing back towards linear. And I think that that's fantastic because, video on demand can be a fair bit of work. It doesn't feel like entertainment if you have to keep doing the effort. So, but just closing off with one particular point, Jay, you're talking about the level of effort that you guys are going to, and you're a big organisation. I think the huge opportunity here is to lower the barriers to entry to almost zero to enter Shoppable TV. Just put the HLS feed up and go. And see how it runs. I think that is a huge opportunity.
Does it work with any content category? Or
yes.
To Mike's point about need states, I mean, we don't want to buy stuff if we're watching a dramatic drama, right?
Not necessarily. It works with obviously travel and lifestyle. News is even interesting. So, we've got the 17,000 vendors in at the moment can cover a lot of different types of content categories. But what I find interesting is that because it's so easy, we can just throw up a stream and say, okay, let's just see how it runs. And it's amazing to see what matches. And amazing to see like the value that gets added. It's like, wow, I didn't even know that product was there. Didn't know who that vendor was. So that new way of discovering the vendors, I think, is interesting. But if you want to watch a movie, then you've probably got your phone down anyway, hopefully.
A pause ads the answer, Jay? Or part of the answer?
We're seeing some really interesting results from advertisers who are deploying the QR in pause ads. And it's really powerful. It's not the answer.
Give us some data. What's these powerful results? What kind of results?
I'm talking about scan rates that are in excess of what we saw through the addition of a QR to the TV ad.
Twice?
Yeah.
Twice.
And but does it make TV advertising shoppable? Maybe, but really, pause ads do something very, very different. They offer advertisers an opportunity to get into the TV space, into the living room, very, very quickly with a tactical ad, and they offer something supplementary to the viewing experience for audiences. It's a very simple addition to what we're offering. Now, it's very different to what we're talking about as relates to bringing shoppability to whether it's the ad stream or the content stream. It's very different to that.
So you don't believe in a pause ad structure, for example, a little bit like, and I was going to bring up Amazon later anyway, but the Amazon X-ray feature that profiles all the actors, but it could instead just profile everything you could buy on that screen.
When you get into the scaling and applicability of opportunities like that, they're really hard to do.
Yeah.
So we ran a trial in Love Island about 3 years ago, about when we were trialing QRs with a little tech vendor called The Take. And we offered Boots the opportunity because they're placed in show. And that's a really important point in the UK. You can only really build these shoppable experiences in content if Ofcom deem there to be a reason that you're doing that. And a placement in show is the only reason in the UK. So we can't build these experiences at scale in the UK unless there is a commercial partnership to be in the show. And product placement, as we all know here in the UK, is one of those really fascinating, brilliantly interesting areas for brands to be a part of, but it's really bloody hard to do and scale, and as a consequence, it just hasn't.
So you have to have a deal in advance, and that is what Ofcom will approve.
Yeah. So on LG, it was LG, I think. Was it LG? It was LG. It was a long time ago. LG offered the opportunity with The Take to offer a buy now flag that users could activate with the remote control and literally buy the Boots product. Sultan, it's there next to one of the ladies on a sunbed. Buy now while it's appearing in the content, and they sold sub 10 units. Lo and behold, they're there to watch Love Island, not shop for sun cream. And I think that very, very true audience insight applies at scale, certainly in this market, I think, for our content anyway.
Tom, so it's back to the issue of friction and getting in the way of the user experience, right?
Yeah, I think it's the type of content that the viewers watching. You know, Game of Thrones. I'm not going to buy a robe. I'm not in the mood for that right now. But I think with the streaming,
we don't
apps
want them to be buying daggers either, right?
Yeah.
So that would be really bad.
With a streaming app, though, you've got so much more opportunity for advertising or shoppable. You've got someone said about there's a huge chunk of time of silence where you're just on the homepage, and that's a beautiful space to have an ad. And you see a lot of people putting sponsors in there, but now that the TV's a bit more performant, we can make those a bit more interactive. So maybe not necessarily buying or purchasing the product that you're having on the homepage, but maybe allowing the user maybe customize the color of the sunglasses that you're seeing, or maybe just cycle through a selection of products rather than just having one static ad. Then you've got, like you said, the pause ads, which I think are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I was in my living room the other day doing the ironing. I had a Heineken ad on the TV for about an hour. And I was like, if there was just one button to press it and I'd purchase it, I'd have done that. But it was a QR code and I couldn't be bothered. But then you've got, obviously, the pre and post and mid-roll. And yeah, I just think there's a lot more space for creativity in how we can present shoppable, interactive ads, not necessarily going full through the purchase flow. It just reminds me, has anyone seen Molly May, the Amazon show? I've got one nod.
Yes.
There must, come on, don't be guilty, it's fine. No judgment.
Mike has. Mike's seen it.
Right, so
Professional interest, obviously.
yeah. I was forced to watch it. Now I'm a fan. But I would say in that show, there's a great opportunity there where you can tie Molly's clothing brand into the content, right? So if you're streaming the episode and she's doing the product launch, that's a beautiful moment there to have an interactive button where you can maybe find out a bit more, or you can, add it to your shopping basket, or go to the website where you want to register it. I think also, technically, I don't know how feasible this would be, but if you're sharing a product that was recommended to you by the show, it's another great opportunity for the user that's watching the show to share that product with a friend, and in that sharing of the product, also recommending the show. So you're kind of, the commerce side is kind of entwined with the content provider as well.
We've got time for one question, maybe, if there is one.
Can I ask one?
You may, Koza.
If you can't be asked to do the QR code thing while the show is on, understandably, is there such a thing as a catalogue after the event? So you've watched the show, and then you go to the show's website, and there's a catalogue of everything that you saw in there that you can then choose at your leisure.
Sort of. So it's a good idea. I'll put that in the roadmap request.
Just came up with it.
Thank you. Thanks for expanding our IP. But you can actually build like a lot. You can just heart the items as you're watching, so you can come back to them later. And we can get the attribution for that. And then if they share that particular product with a friend, then we can get the attribute for that too. But that's not a bad idea.
Any other questions from the audience?
They're all hungry.
Yeah. Well, look, in that case, it is. Come on. All right, go on.
It sounds like Shoppable TV is introducing potentially a new revenue stream to television. Now, having submitted loads of TV applications over the years, I know how hot the TV vendors are on having their share of the pie. How are those conversations going? Is it that you're introducing Shoppable TV and all the revenues going to you guys and the brands, or are manufacturers like Samsung, Google, Amazon all holding you to that part of the pie? I ask because we've tried to submit applications in the past and they've been flat out rejected because they just include a QR code on a page, right? So,
Mike, you were pretty bullish on this. So.
Oh yeah. Jay gets all the money. That's the way it works in this industry. It all goes to Jay.
Very short answer.
Yeah. Everybody in the whole TV value chain is getting a lot smarter about the way that TV works, and so the OEM discussions with the operating system manufacturers and the operating system manufacturers with the content distribution partners and the content distribution partners and OS and whoever the ad sales house is with the ultimate agency and advertiser are all increasingly looking to share in that upside. So that the overall version of what that value is worth, everybody now sees it and everybody wants a piece. So it takes, there's a bunch of people in this room who are already doing hard enough deals on things like content distribution. Those just got like 3x harder because absolutely it's more complex, and absolutely, even to the retailers of the TVs, they know the value of the units they're selling are more than they used to be. And so everybody wants a piece of this upside.